Left of the box. So, turns out we're going back to the Dark Ages. Ontario sees first measles death in decades of tracking after young child dies. This is where the conservative ideology leads to. Climate change denier, anti-vaxxers. This is just a horrible, horrible story. A young child has died of measles in Ontario, making the first death in the province from a highly contagious virus since tracking began in 1989. The child, who was under the age of 5, was not immunized against the virus, according to the surveillance report, which was published on Thursday. The death was reported in Hamilton. See, I'm all for not giving people a choice. Like, if they physically cannot take the vaccine for whatever reason, then that's one thing. But there should be no other excuse, because there are people who can't take the vaccine for whatever reason that are relying on the herd immunity. And when you have so many people that then just want to believe that vaccines aren't useful, and part of it is we've hit this lull, this area where, since these diseases haven't been a problem or an issue for so long because of vaccines, people forget how bad it was, how much it ravages the body, how many people are dying, and all that sort of stuff. The lifelong consequences that people would have from these viruses. Because it hasn't happened for so long, they forget. And there's this complicity or this thought of, well, maybe we don't need it. Yeah, we do. We do. We need the vaccines. And it's so infuriating to me that it's the parents, usually, that deny their children the vaccines because they're afraid it's going to make them autistic, which no, it won't, or whatever other conspiracy thing they believe. And it's the child that suffers the consequence. And the parents will make up whatever bullshit story they want in their heads to justify their actions. Public Health Ontario says that there have been 22 confirmed cases of measles reported in the province in 2024. Of those individuals, 13 were children and 9 were adults. 4 of the adults were previously immunized, 2 were unimmunized, and 2 had unknown immunization status. The case spanned across 9 different public health units, and source of transmission in 15 or 22 cases is believed to be travel. Yeah, the key thing here is it is totally preventable, says Dr. Isaac, which is, yeah, get a vaccine. It's preventable. The amount of side effects from vaccines, there's always going to be some people that have massive adverse reaction to it, pales in comparison to the amount of people it saves. It's kind of like people saying that, the 1% chance that vaccine might hurt them is 1% chance too risky, so they're not going to do it, despite the fact that 99% of the time it's fine. And that if you get the disease without the vaccine, then you're most likely going to die or get really, really sick. Between 2013 and 2023, there were about 101 confirmed cases of measles reported in Ontario. The last time the province saw more than 20 cases of measles was in 2014, when 22 cases were confirmed. A July report from Public Health Ontario previously showed that vaccination rates for measles has also slipped in recent years. For example, in Toronto, the percentage of 7-year-olds fully vaccinated for measles dropped from 80.2% to 38. What? Sorry, I think I'm reading this wrong. For example, in Toronto, the percentage of 7-year-olds fully vaccinated for measles dropped from 80.2% in the 2019 to 2020 school years to 38.9% in the 2021-2022 school year. I'm sorry, what? Holy shit. I'm sorry, I'm that's more than a 40% decrease in vaccination, because so many people, they took the wrong lesson from COVID. They took that. Too many people, anti-vaxxers, believe that, COVID proved that vaccines were bad, without realizing how many lives those vaccines saved. It's almost like we would have had to live through the pandemic without vaccines and see the full extent of the horror, and then have vaccines introduced for people to actually understand that they work, to then see the difference. But because we got the vaccines so fast and they saved so many lives, people are like, nah, it wasn't the vaccines. The vaccines are actually the things that are killing people. And every Canadian school will be unsafe if we end vaccine mandates. Think about that. First child to die from measles in a decade, says Sherry DeNovo. And she's quote tweeting this: with today's news of Ontario child dying of measles and Canada's dismally low vaccination rates, we need to be reminded what Pierre Poilievre will do or not do to address this. And I'm bringing this up for a very good reason. This is from July 2nd, 2022. So, still pandemic, heavy during that time. Pierre Poilievre. Today, I introduced a private member's bill to abolish all current vaccine mandates and ban any and all future vaccine mandates. Give people back their medical freedom. Let them take back control of their lives. He wants to ban any and all present and future mandates for vaccines because he was just so upset with people being forced, held down and forcefully injected with vaccines for COVID, which of course never happened, and I'm being sarcastic. There were mandates in place. People were being coerced into taking vaccines for sure, but nobody was being forced to take a vaccine. And this is the future he wants for Canada. If he becomes prime minister, again, I can't stress enough how dangerous this person will be if he becomes prime minister of this country. People will die. Like, it's not an exaggeration. Schools need to have vaccine mandates to protect the people who can't take the vaccines and to protect children from stupid parents who think vaccines are implanted chips or will make their children autistic. Parents who actually didn't learn anything when they went through school. Like, it's just, at some point, the state needs to step in and protect children from parents when they are being that neglectful. That's part of the point. Parents don't have absolute rights over their children. They have responsibilities. And part of the responsibility is keeping them healthy and safe, not to give them their medical freedom. It is to keep children safe.